All right, let's go ahead and get into my favorite segment of the week and who we want to start.
Starts of the week.
All right, we're going to go through our starts of the week, guys that we think are locked and loaded, ready to have big games or very good games. And I want to remind everybody, if you have a question for us, by the way, we had a mailbag show yesterday. We'll be talking mailbag some more tomorrow. In fact, we actually have a mailbag show just for people on our jointhefoot.com community, our Foot Clan members. So that is taking place later today. But if you want to get involved, go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. There is a big submit a question button on the website, and you can send us your trade questions, your waiver wire questions.
Our special Patreon video that's going up today is full frontal.
Are we doing that?
Well, we might.
We just committed on the air.
Jason is the worst.
Well, we'll see.
What he means is that we will have video of that episode, but now no one will watch it.
Yeah, it's not full frontal nudity. It's just we're gonna have cameras that see our faces.
Nobody knows about the scar on this side of my face.
Right.
I have a horrible
Harry
scar.
Potter score.
I have a Harry Potter scar, and then I have a tattoo of Jeremy Maclin on the bottom.
Yeah.
I wanted to. Can we come up with 90 yards receiving for Maclin this week?
I'll take it.
Gotta have that.
Waterbed.
Thank you. Now I've got my obligatory Jeremy
bet
Maclin
of the
bet.
week.
You know, that's a good bet for what you were saying. They're gonna be able to run on him all day, so they don't need to pass.
I was going with 90, but that was like the trade offer where I was going to accept 100 if he came back with it.
Oh,
but I threw 90 out there early.
I'll take
early.
it. 90 seems fair.
All right, starts of the week. Let's start with Mike. Who's your quarterback start of the week?
I'm writing in the waterbed. Go to Jason.
Okay,
right,
Jason.
I'll go. So I'm sticking with my stream of the week, Jay Cutler is back, so I'm starting him all the way. Cutler's back. He's
What
healthy.
was
He's
that?
got
You want to know what that was? That was me about to say snapback because I think of Cutler and Stafford so closely
they
together.
hold
And then I go,
hands.
oh, wait, that's not snapback.
I thought your soul had
That's
escaped
smoking.
your body.
Jay's smoking. Yeah, right
Smoking
there.
Jay Cuddy. So I'm sticking
Andy's
with him.
gone. All right, my quarterback start of the week is Marcus Mariota. Yes, it seems like a bad matchup. It's Buffalo, right? They have an amazing defense, right? Well, they're a run-stopping defense, and in fact, they're very bad against the pass, and I don't expect them to have any trouble stopping the Sankey, Andrews, West, McCluster cluster going on going on there. So they're at home. They're off the bye. Mariota's been very consistent. In fact, a top 12 quarterback type of consistent. So I really like you, and he's available in a ton of leagues because of the bye week. People dropped him to sign somebody else. So Marcus Mariota, I think, is a great streaming option, a great start this week.
I am going with Felipe Rivers.
Monday night
at home
Mhm.
against Pittsburgh. Antonio Gates is back. That will be a huge lift for that passing attack, and they're playing against Pittsburgh, who the last 2 weeks have been pretty good for Pittsburgh. But I'm going with the history of the multitude of games before those last two, where Pittsburgh is an automatic QB1 start. Phillip Rivers, I think, leads the league in yardage. He has been tremendous this year, besides one game against Minnesota, which we will not speak of.
All right. Running back start of the week. Let's go kick it back to Jason. Jason, who's your start of the week here? And this is humorous because you and Mike have basically dueling starts of the week, which makes it a
Fantasy Faceoff.
I was not prepared.
We got a fantasy face-off coming here between my guy, Joseph Randle, and Mike's guy. Mike, I can't say this guy's name. You say it.
Darren McFadden.
You take him. Now we're both coming from the exact same perspective, and the perspective is this: Lance Dunbar has been an amazing pass catching back, and his knee left his body.
Oh, that was brutal.
That was a brutal.
Why do they show the replay so many times?
Because we keep watching it
Yeah,
every
that's why.
time. It's through my fingers on my face. I just keep watching. So here's the deal. This is a matchup that New England should be dominating off the bye, should be throwing up a lot of points. So you've got to have and you have seen that Brandon Weeden is not using his wide receivers all that much, but he threw 10 times to Lance Dunbar. So you've got first of all, a matchup in New England that's given up a lot of points to the running back position. So that's just good on a matchup basis to start the game. But as the game gets out of hand, you've got Whedon, who's going to give a lot of passes to some running back. The question is, who is that new third down running back for the Cowboys? And I could see it being either, but I'm going Joseph Randle.
This is the boldest selection you've ever made in this segment, Mike, because it's one thing to select a start of the week that, this seems like sleeper start of the week.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So Darren McFadden, sell us on that.
So this is why
product.
This is why I went with McFadden. There's no running backs that I love out of nowhere besides Darren McFadden, and this is I'm referring to more of a PPR type league when I say Darren McFadden. I'm going to take the running back who has a seasons of 47 receptions, 42 receptions, 36 last year. I'm going to take that guy who has a track record and a history of being a pass-catching back over Joseph Randle, who, let me look, he eight his rookie year, 4 last year. It just the history is on the side for me of Darren McFadden. And McFadden, if we can look through the telescope into the past, back when Darren McFadden was a spectacular fantasy performer, a lot of it was because
those were the best 3 games of my life.
Because he could catch the ball and he could make things happen when he was in space. And so that's why I'm leaning with Lance Dunbar had 10 catches 2 weeks ago.
I'm very curious to see how it shakes out, but not curious enough to make either of them my start of the week. In fact, I just flipped to the other side of the ball and selected Dion Lewis. Coming off the bye, Dallas.
I thought you were going to go with Kristen Michael.
No. Dallas that would have been great. But I don't go with practice squad type talents.
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
We're moving
he's
up.
Actually active.
Moving up.
Dion Lewis. Dallas is 30th against the run. Lewis has been heavily involved. He's great in PPR leagues. Dion Lewis is my start of the week. All right, wide receivers, I'm going to give you mine. It is the Alshon Jeffery / Eddie Royal start. If Jeffrey goes, KC's dead last against the pass. We talked about them as our upset of the week. Jay Cutler's Jason's start of the week.
Stream. And
start.
Yeah, I apologize.
And so if Jeffrey's there, I handcuffed him in our league of record with Eddie Royal this week, because I know that the targets will be there for whoever's that top passing option. So if it's not Jeffrey, I'm just going to slide Royal in there and I hope he gets some PPR numbers and a touchdown. If it isn't Royal, which I hope is not, I hope Jeffrey's back. I expect a big game from him.
And I'm going with Kamar Aiken. And last week, 5 for 77 with a touchdown. We talked about Steve Smith is out. And the feared Joe Hayden right now is looking doubtful. And that is a huge blow to the secondary of the Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco is still there. He's still an above-average quarterback, and someone has to get the targets.
Who was the Giants receiver I started a few years ago?
Oh,
do you remember?
Ramses Barden?
Ramses Barden. This is reminding me of that situation where,
somebody's got to do it.
Nobody heard of him, and then all of a sudden Ramses Barden comes in and runs like 8 straight posts and gets 7 catches and has a good game.
And Aiken was running ahead of Brashad Perryman through most of the training camp, and then, of course, Perryman got hurt. But Kamar Aiken seems to be a guy that they have some trust in. So they're going to move forward with him, and I like him this week. The matchup is good.
Yeah, if Hayden is out, I love that.
Jason, your wide receiver start of the week is a guy that that some people are worried about.
Yeah, I'm going with Jordan Matthews. He only got 3 catches for 50 yards, no touchdown last week, no touchdown the week before, less than 50 yards. So that's 2 weeks in a row under 50 yards. And the question is, has the NFL figured out how to stop the slot? Is anything going on with Philly's offense that can be good? On paper, the New Orleans matchup is not a great matchup for the wide receivers. They haven't given up a lot of points. That's a little skewed, though. One of those games was against Carolina, who has no wide receivers, and Dallas with Brandon Whedon, who doesn't throw to the wide receiver. So I think Jordan Matthews is a great bounce back. I've got no problem starting him over. There's just about no lineup I can imagine that I would not have him in, so he's my start of the week.
All right, at the tight end position, I'm going with Antonio Gates.
Yes.
He's back on the PEDs. That is...
We hope so.
No, that is the performance-enhancing defense he's facing. He's facing the Pittsburgh...
I love it.
He's facing the Pittsburgh Pirates. Oh, Steelers. That's what it is. 29th against the poor Pirate fans, by the way.
You need to preface that with incoming dad joke.
Well, it's great. It's great, right? Pittsburgh 29th against tight ends.
That's breaking news.
They can't stop people. You've got Phillip Rivers as your start of the week over there. I think Gates just rolls right into town and rumbles for a touchdown and is a cog of that offense. We don't know what's going on with Stevie Johnson. I think Antonio Gates is a great start this week. Jason, who's your tight end?
My tight end, I talked about him last week. This is a clear, easy pick for me. It's Owen Daniels. Owen Daniels is playing against the Oakland Raiders. Just like I don't play tight ends against the Ravens, I always play the tight end against the Raiders. The Raiders have given up a touchdown or two in every single game, and if there is an NFL quarterback smart enough to take advantage of gaping holes in the defense, it's clearly going to be Peyton Manning. Owen Daniels has a touchdown in his last 2 games. He hasn't been involved that much. I've got him like
his
5
target
for 50.
numbers have gone up in every game except for the last one.
Yeah, so I think against this matchup, it's great. You've got a great quarterback, a good touchdown opportunity, and he's available in just about every league.
All right, Mike, that leaves you and your tight end of the week.
I'm going back to Charles Clay. Tennessee is in the bottom against in fantasy points against the tight ends. He had 5 catches against Miami, 9 last week against the Giants. He's spectacular. The Sammy Watkins is looking doubtful. They need playmakers up there, and Tyrod Taylor is capable of getting the job done.
Clay is still available in 50% of your leagues.
You've got to be kidding me.
So here's what you do. If you have a decent tight end on your team, you pick up Charles Clay and you trade the great guy that you've got. Andy, you did this in one of your leagues already.
I traded
Eifert. If you've got
Eifert.
Tyler Eifert, if you've got even a Greg Olsen or someone that can nab you something great, go ahead and roll Charles Clay. He's going to be great for the rest of the year, I think. And grab a great wide receiver or running back, 1 or 2.
All right, that is it for today's show. We'll be back with the other half of the Week 5 matchups tomorrow. Make sure to check us out on Twitter at the FF Ballers. You can visit us on YouTube.
Incoming Twitter blitz tomorrow.
Oh, that is right. Tomorrow, 8 straight hours. We're answering questions on
Goodbye.
Twitter.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Don't forget to visit us on the web at www.thefantasyfootballers.com and follow us on Twitter at the FF Ballers.